Prague. I had Belgium, but okay. I was making it up a little. In Prague, where the owner had trained his dog to howl the introductions. So while I'm pretty sure this won't be the worst or the most memorable introduction he's received, it's still a little daunting for me, mostly because Robin is a master of introductions, and he uses them to great creative advantage, both for himself and others. He's been the recipient of so many prizes, awards, grants, and fellowships, and has published so many poems, short stories, and even a play that I abbreviated the list a lot to get it on the program, and I'm going to abbreviate it even more here. I'm going to just mention a few that I know are very nearest and dearest to his heart. Robin received the Rainer Maria Rilke International Poetry Prize for his beautiful book, Unbidden Angel, written after his own deep personal loss. He and his wife, director Liz Carlin Metz, are co-founders of the Vitalist Theater Company, and they put their entire beings into every single production. And we'll see a clip from their current play. He is also the director of creative writing at Knox College in Galesburg, Illinois. Under his leadership, Knox offers, according to Poets and Writers magazine, one of the finest undergraduate creative writing programs in the country. It is one of Knox's largest and most popular majors. One of the ways he's accomplished these feats is through his introductions, making something out of nothing. For Knox's weekly readings, he introduces his students with an earnest generosity, often suggesting their writing reminds him of certain great authors or writing styles. A student does not soon forget being compared in some way to Flaubert or Faulkner or Flannery O'Connor. This suggests to the writing students that Robin has really read and thought about your writing, that you'd better read all of those writers deeply, that you should work much harder, because the possibilities are perhaps greater than you ever realized. Again, building something out of nothing. Building on an idea, a possibility, and the ability to imagine doing more and being more than you are right now. With that, I'd like to introduce Robin Metz.
Well, I want to thank Ann and Kevin. This is a beautiful venue and just a beautiful idea that they've launched. I'm so pleased to hear that it's been successful. Ann alluded to the fact that I've given poetry readings in lots of places in the world, I think 24 countries now. This is as beautiful a setup as I've seen. And I don't hear any howling dog to introduce.
Yes.
Yeah. Something Ann didn't mention when she was referencing the introduction of students at a venue that we have at Knox College. Sometimes those introductions would go on for 20 minutes. And we have such a wonderful program tonight. I'm going to try to minimize my comments about poems, even though I'm well aware that in poetry readings, sometimes what poets say between the poems is actually more interesting than the poems themselves for certain audiences. Because of the theme that Ann and Kevin chose for tonight's gathering, it's something I don't do too often, but I'm going to read a selection of poems, all from this one book, Unbidden Angel, and I think the title suggests to you the theme of loss. When the angel families or our loved ones. It often comes as a surprise and never a welcome angel. But a part of every work about loss, obviously, is a work about love. That's what makes our loss so intense. Sometimes when I've read from this book, I've said, every love story is finally a story about loss. There's always someone left behind. But then I add and believe, thus do we believe in love. The intensity of that feeling of loss reminds us how important our love experience was. I'll start with this poem, celebration of my late wife, Elizabeth Jenkins. 4-letter words. Some days, it's your back that I relinquish in its easy sway and languor. Some days, it's your rage I calm, your neck I kiss, your knee, your shin with childhood scar from sand or grit of rock. Your brow, your eyes like hurl of surf, your wave of roan, cascading hair in bangs, your hope against long odds. But this night, it's your shoe I hold, your shoe that bore your step 1 inch awry on side hill rise of dune or turf, though some days, sotto voce, you were vain about your comely feet. You grinned to tell me this. I kiss each foot, your curl of toes, and stroke the arch and purr of you in love. You know, when you love somebody and you meet them in your maturity, one of the great joys of sharing is you kind of find out about their youth. Maybe you're the only person sometimes that's found out certain aspects of their youth. My late wife was from a little farm town in northern Minnesota called Foston, up in the Bemidji country. First sex. Foston is a farm town, and the Berge barn is right around the corner. What a lofty, loomy place to learn the trade-offs, bow before the urgency and redolence, recumbent, yes, refluent, yes, and lead the shy boy by the hand with shadow eyes and whispers, kneeling now, the summer frock, all nylon, sheer as silk, and lapping tongue of midnight air like moon. For such is all that's sacred, forehead yielding to the chafe-strewn boards, then looking back in wide amaze, mine eyes, to gaze the source of hair damp at the nape and nap, and flooding, muscles flooding, ravenous, like this, like this, like this, like this, like tide, like tilth, like moon. This next poem I'm going to read has a Chicago base, as you'll soon see. I sometimes hesitate to read it because it's a complex poem, and sometimes poems that work on the page don't necessarily work for the ear. But when I'm with a group of writers, I'll just trust my luck. So, famous Chicago artist Jean Dunning. The poem describes what my relationship with her was. But one time I was living in Chicago and teaching and working in theater there, and Elizabeth Jenke Metz was teaching theater in Los Angeles. We were desperate to be together, but we had half a continent that separated us. So it was difficult. But when we came together, it was with great joyousness. In Jean Dunning's bed, and I should tell you this has an epigraph from an art critic, Matthias Figner. In Jean Dunning's bed, and the epigraph is, by moving from one paradigmatic fetish to the next, Dunning evokes a dispassionate narrative in her viewer's consciousness. Matthias Figner. This apartment I am renting from Jean Dunning, sight unseen. I like the view east over rooftops in their gentle wave and fall, like tresses toward the lake unseen. Its sheen I can imagine like Jean's photographs, which I have never seen, but read are at the Whitney in New York this season. Just imagine one of only 2 Chicago artists, so the Trib asserts, though Jean herself, whom I have written to, ComEd, the gas and water bills, and phoned but never seen, is working in LA. While you, my love, your tresses hued like dark mahogany in forest light, are on the red eye from rehearsal in LA. A woman killed with kindness, Haywood's revived play I've never seen, and scarcely can imagine even, as I glimpse you in the airport throng, unseen, so vivid is your sway and stride, so confident your crimson laugh and sheerest off-the-shoulder blouse, your biker's leather, brash in all the suppleness of ebony, in all the throatiness of kisses, pulses, blind caresses, you, my scalding eyes. It's when you hold it back, Jean Dunning claims in print and interview, the Trib again, and someone else still wants the weight of wanting. Then it's out of our control, the ways in which the body physical, the body monstrous and flawed becomes eroticized. And we, adorned across Jean's bed, agree again across Jean's elevated 4 feet off the floorboard's bed, unseen, entwined, withheld, unleashed, devised by lips and fingertips in faith alone, across a slumbered continent, divined. When last alive I saw you, From our birth of love-slipped slumber, you rise silvery as heron longings, blue as slate night whispers of the moon in mooring. Maybe wrens in roost stir, maybe I in lust stir, maybe I am dreaming. But I breathe the pillow chill of you swept forth on pulses I am powerless to countermand. I eyelid kiss the ripples of your back in moon's half-light, your shoulder pearled in turning to my eyelid kiss, the slope I love of sweetheart breast to stroke in lull of nipple rising. Then your sleepy smile a little, fingers touched to lips to wait a little, as you steal away in hallway shadows, with a last flick of your fingers at Bikini Cove of buttocks precious. Just that honey promise, just that saucy whisk of stricture, just that sass of melon flesh, when last alive and lush in dew I saw you. Intensive care. ER orderlies erupt, careen, grip gurney rails like bobsled team in terror plunge through glaze ice corridor. Oh, my lovely. Doctors racing shrunken shoulder to keep pace. They shout your name, Elizabeth, but shun my eyes and bleeding. Oh, my lovely. Brainstem voltage spikes all dreams, and neurocircuits sizzle, lips pale, lids enflailed, spasm limbs in limbo. Oh, my lovely. Thus, galvanic sighs uncoil brain like vipers ride, like astral light, and love imploded. Oh, my pretty one. Saturday morning. In a sleepy-eyed town, the Saturday papers wake early. Even in winter, the slap of delivery, the clank of the coin box announces a new day as much as the last. Even in ER, even in OR, how intensive can care be? Awash in distraction. These dreary predictions, the clump of the headlines, the slog of the world and the news. While punch-drunk and reeling, I yield to the handlers who steer me from death watch through lobbied pastels, past mums and get-wells, to the fog of the chirruping street. A cab, though still drowsy, is purring, and friends, disbelieving, await. For somehow the news has been leaked. They tried, but you died. And love is like newsprint, crumpled and trashed. I fold in the children, the clutch of our family and friends. Their eyes are like newsprint, smudged as condolence. They read me the sentence. I bring them the noose of the news. Well, as you can see, this book goes through all the phases of grief. And I'm going to kind of move toward the end. There is life after loss. So just one last poem. Flushing grouse. Liz and I should tell you, spent a lot of our joyful days in our farm in Wisconsin, western Wisconsin. Flushing grouse. The ridge road cleats me. This is physical, and I follow the pulse like a walleye arrows the current of rivers. It is the winter of my withered foliage, though the chickadees still flit a brilliant droop of elderberries. Ahead of me, the lichened oaks and hickories dissolve in patient mystery. Ahead of me, the rough grouse whir. Below, the valley pleats in memory of arbored sorrow. Light drops from the winter sky on tallow wings, a swooping owl. Too late, retreat. Below, the valley shrouds. Ahead, the ridge road rises. Ruffed grouse ripple and whir. I flutter. I enter the flurry